pair of dovebirds were roaming around our home for a few days. Sometimes they were seen on the power lines nearby, sometimes on the railing of the house, and sometimes they were grazing in our yard. Afterwards, we found out that they already built their nest on the top of our electricity meter box. Our home has become their home as well from some days. I recall the memory of my childhood. We together with some friends used to walk with slingshot in same season to drop mangoes from the tree. And out of ignorance, we were going to kill birds with the same slingshot. I still regret it when I recall it. When the doves came to my home and made a nest like this, I felt as if those birds had forgiven. From the day those doves made their nest, different types of excitement was added to my two sons, especially my 5 years old younger one. I must have to tell him a story when I put him to bed at night. The dove bird I used to imagine and tell the story had come to our house and made a nest. Suppose that the character of his favorite story was in his own house. That's why many curiosities from his innocent heart will came out in the form of funny questions. Dad, is this the same dove bird that saved the little ant when it was swept away by the river? Yes, my little honey, this is exactly the same dove bird. After listening to the words of youngest son, my eldest son starts laughing and he also asks the question. Dad, in how many days will the baby hatch from these eggs? Even I don't know about that. Let's watch and see. We will find out. I answer him. After that, it had become like a routine for my sons to watch the activities of the dove bird. Sometimes I used to join them and watch as well. There was no difference between the dove bird we used to see in our childhood and the dove bird now I see. The same sound, same color, same look, and same innocent eyes. But from our childhood to nowadays, so many things have changed. From the world of paper to the world of computer and mobile. From the society of mud houses to the society of cemented houses. And green jungle and farming fields were turned into the concrete jungle. How does the poor bird know that? The cruel encroachment of human development has pushed their existence into extinction. Actually, that dove bird did not make its nest on my house, but I had made my house where it would have made her nest. After 2 weeks, Dove hatched the chicks. Now my two sons had two new little friends. My sons start to pay more attention to them. Elder son Abhay would throw some rice, corn, and some pieces of bread in the front yard. But other birds came and eat that food than the doves. One day, a small bird was snatched away by a cat while eating the grains kept in this way. This incident made my eldest son very sad. Dad, cats should be eaten only mice, isn't it? He questioned. Hiding the humor I got from his question, I explained to him. After that, he sadly asked me again. Then that cat will eat the doves and its baby too, right? No, the cat won't be able to reach the nest. The dove birds knows this much at least, so they made their nest, I assure my son. But now, I was in the same fear which I removed from my son's mind. Now, it had become my routine to check the dove nest. The first thing in the morning after I get up. And in the night, if I hear any unusual noise, I will go and check the nest, suspecting the cat. Actually, I was also engaged in the same thing, that how to grow up those dove's chicks safely and fly them into the open sky. I told so many stories to my sons, and all of them had happily ever after. But I did not have any control over the ending of this story in the making. So I was pressing myself to make this story a happy ending as well. And I became a child along with my sons. Gradually, the cheeks of the doves started growing up, the bare skin covered by warm feathers. Slowly, they changed day by day. Now, they are looking young and active. In about 2 weeks, they were able to flapping their wings. The practice of flapping their wings continued for a few days before the first flight. One day, they came out from the nest. Mother Dove was watching them very carefully. Now, the both young doves were ready for their first flight. We were also very happy to watch their first flight. At first, they started flying surrounding the fields of our house. They flew here and there and rest on the small branches of the trees and electric wire. Maybe they were preparing their wings for the perfect flight. After a while, now they made their wings mature for the long flight, and they flew away and vanished. The mother dove also flew after them. Witnessing this, my eldest son Abhay became excited, and then he became sad at the same time. My younger son came to me and started asking, Dad, they will come to sleep in the same nest at night, right? I take him in my arms and answer him, No, my little honey, now they went to their own home in the forest. I already told you in the story, right? Yes, exactly the same forest. After listening my words, he started crying and saying that, Go and catch the doves and bring them back to me. It's very difficult to convince him. After a while, we changed the topic and make him laugh. After that, both sons started playing happily. I lost on them and started thinking, is there any difference between this dove bird life story and our life? Even these chicks of our nest will be given invisible wings by time one day, and their flight will be begun too. The flight of alone struggle, the flight of life struggle, and finally the flight of success. After all the parents were waiting for that same flight, isn't it? The difference between the human and the bird is that after the first flight, birds leaves their chicks alone forever, and she leaves the nest alone and flew away. But people are still waiting for that when their children will come back and stay in the same nest again. Waiting for the same relationship as in the world nest. Waiting for the same belongingness as in the old age. And waiting for the same old age happiness.